Hello and welcome to this week's Gems of War Guild Event Planner. I'm Guardian Namek, Guild Leader of Loot and Plunder. This week's focus is the Invasion event, where we are using Elementals. And after running some numbers, here are the units you want to use. So this is the team I plan on using. As we are using Elementals, I get to use my Giant team. Unfortunately, I cannot use Mistralis, as I have to have the invasion character for the week for bonus score, and so I am stuck with not Mistralis. She is wonderful as she gives enchant on 4 and 5 ways, which combined with the Onyx Giant makes it basically so you're always enchanted, which is very nice to have. But I figured having the Giant class from Stormheim would be nice because your Giant allies get to start with 50% mana, which means that the Onyx Giant and Frost Crown will start half charged, and as well as the weapon, which will be quite nice to have. The Tower Killer will just kind of be there to punch towers and hit towers. I don't like the freeze gems because the invasion, you aren't going to be freezing the enemy, which means you'll only be freezing yourself. So hopefully those can be avoided. The Onyx Giant, wonderful tank, and then also gets to do a ton of skull damage and normal damage. So he'll be very useful, but he won't be doing the skull damage because the Tower Killer will be giving times 5 damage. Then the Frost Crown does some decent damage, summons a minion. More importantly, her third trait gives all Giant allies 2 magic and life on 4 and 5 waves, which means the Giant will be doing a lot more damage. And then I have my Doomed Axe. You can also go with Explode the Board, Cauldron, other thing to create skulls, or just something else. But I always like it because it deals some damage. More importantly, turns purple to Doom Skulls, which means more skull matches, which means I can punch down the towers quicker. Because the nice thing with Invasion is once you get to the 4 towers, it goes by really quickly as long as you can hit the towers. Because for the most part, your Tower Killer is just going to be mowing through them. Eventually, you have to hit them twice, but it still is one of the quicker guild events. Now, if you are looking for some other options, because you want to use something of the kingdom or just don't have, a mythic unit, here are some other good options. Unfortunately, there are no good options in Glacial Peaks. They are all mid. So they're not bad, but they're very mid and There's one that the Frost Orca is actually pretty decent normally because it has a chance to devour, except for fighting towers and you can't eat a tower. So the devour becomes a little less useful. For some damage things, we have Salamandria once again. She's been very useful as of late, so if you do have her, you're probably getting a lot of mileage out of her. Because once again, she deals a bunch of true damage to the first 2 enemies, explodes all burning gems, and she gets to make burning gems on 4 more ways. My suggestion, if you do have Salamandria and plan on using her, put her with a team that creates burning gems, whether it's the sword for a weapon or for your hero that turns blue to burning gems, or the imp or the bug that creates a few burning gems, or the goblin that turns 5 gems into burning gems. They're not too great on their own, but they set up Salamandria very well. In the Nexus corner, you can use King Heliodor for some good damage, as he does true damage to the first enemy. Creates elemental stars, so he's a good mana and damage. You can also be using Emberclaw for a very similar thing, deal some good damage, get some good mana, and can make some mana on just your turn. And And little out of order, but on the same vein of Nexus, we have the Nexus portal, which gets to create a bunch of elemental stars and summon random troop. And this is what we were looking forward to on the week that we had Nexus, because they are just really good units. But instead we got something completely different than elemental on the elemental plane kingdom. So unfortunate case. Or maybe it was a different color, I can't remember. I'm going to continue on the Nexus train, as the Umbral portal most likely is also just as good as the Nexus portal. I didn't have it when I put in things last time. As well as the Natureborn Hunter, once again, very good for mana generation if you have a green team. So if you are planning on doing like the first three here, Emberclaw, King Heliodor, Nexus Portal, the Natureborn Hunter isn't going to be a good fourth. Also, you should be using the weekly unit. But if you're doing like Corrupted Cycad, Hawthorne, Natureborn Hunter, that would be a good combo. I don't know if actually they're good. Yeah, they're not very good. But point being is the kind of gotta have a green team to utilize the Natureborn Hunter. But if you do, very good. The Corrupted Cycad is also decent, but you need to have a team that can generate poison gems, or at the very least have him or generate him a lot of mana without exploding the board, so that he just continually gets more and more poison gems on the field. And akin to back during Broken Spire, the Lava Etin and the Wrath Naga get to do some decent damage boosted by burning gems. And so if you plan on using those, you'll be wanting to use things like the Cinderhand Goblin. They get to convert green to burning gems, or the Fire Spirit. You do have the Fire Spirit available, and they are very good for creating burning gems, as they get to just convert, which allows Salamandria to do a lot of damage, or even just the Wrath Naga or Lava Etin if you don't have Salamandria. You can also, if you're crazy enough, you can be using imps. They haven't been useful for a long time, and they still aren't actually good, but I saw them on the near the front page of elementals, so I had to bring them up, as I used to use imps quite a bit back in the day, because they used to be really powerful. This one, decent damage, and had a charm effect. Charm was really good back in the day. It's still not bad, but it was like, I get to do good damage and do some more damage. It was wonderful. Akin to the Spooky Imp as well, as they got to transform an enemy or give everyone more magic. And the transform was wonderful because it's like, I get to turn a powerful enemy into a annoying enemy, but not super deadly. It was like, oh, that's wonderful. Summer Imp gets to create red gems to try and help charge up the other imp, and gets to get 8 mana on a kill. Again, back in the day where you had like maybe 4 or 5 mana or magic. Absolutely wonderful. And then the Winter Imp got to freeze all enemies, which was wonderful, and does true damage. Still actually pretty good because of that. And so just that combo of 4 imps was just like, this is wonderful. Like, this is exactly what I need back in the day. Now that was many, many years ago. But I wanted to bring it up because it's been a long time since I really had the spotlight. But they are wonderful units, just not of this age. Now, to finish up the mana generation, we have Fundingus, as he gets to explode a bunch of gems and then summon either Giant Toadstool or Toadstool. Basically, you get a Mii Shield and you gain an extra turn. So it's very nice for the mana generation side of things. And that will be about it for this week. As while there is a lot of elemental characters, especially characters like Grimborn Bloodeye, who gets to do a lot of damage and a high chance to kill an enemy, except for we're going to be fighting towers and they're invulnerable, so you can't freeze or bleed them. So usually you'd be very powerful. In this event, not really powerful. There's going to be a lot of units that rely on debuffs that are going to be a lot less powerful this time around. But luckily, it's also tower, so your tower killer of the week going to be Fionnuala, carrying a lot of the damage. You just need to try and make sure she gets to do as much damage as possible. I hope this info was helpful for both starting and veteran players of Gems War. If it was helpful to you, give that subscribe button a click, as I plan on doing these every Monday, both to help my guild and for fun. Until next week, have fun plundering.